Hi, this is me observing social distance, sitting in my car on my own. It just gives me 10 minutes out of the apartment. And we are living in very troubled, very difficult times, and a lot of people are struggling. Now, this video has nothing to do with sport. I just thought that maybe I could share some of my knowledge, some of my understanding to help you manage your stress levels and look after your emotional well-being during this COVID-19 pandemic, because we're constantly being bombarded with bad news, statistics of more and more illnesses and deaths. And a lot of people are very, very stressed. And it is important that we try and reduce our stress levels, manage our stress, because the American Psychological Association published a report a number of years ago, and this report said that in 75% of cases, when somebody goes to visit a medical professional, that the presenting symptom can have its roots traced back to stress. Now, we know stress is very damaging to the body, but it also introduces other things like, how do you manage your stress? Is it prescription drugs? Is it alcohol, tobacco, overeating? These kind of things that ultimately damage the body. That in a minimum of 75% of cases, the symptom could be traced back to stress. But we also know that stress in itself is very damaging to the body, because when you trigger your stress response, your body kicks in with its natural, its instinctive fight or flight mechanism. Now, what happens here is blood is diverted to the muscle groups to get a burst of adrenaline very quickly to the muscles. But in doing that, it's diverted away from the digestive system. It's diverted away from the immune system. So if you're constantly triggering your fight or flight mechanism, you are damaging your immune system, leaving you more vulnerable. Now, the principle, I want to talk to you about a principle called the downward arrow. And when you understand the downward arrow, it can give you a lot of insight into what process does my mind go through that ultimately leads to the fight or flight stress reaction kicking in. And I give a very exaggerated example of this to my clients, and it sounds a bit silly, but hopefully in sharing with you and demonstrating, it might give you time, get you to examine yourself. What are the mental processes I go through? And the example I give is this: I've lost my pen, so I'm going to die. Now that sounds a bit ridiculous, but I'll go through it with you. I've lost my pen. I can't write appointments in my diary. I can't make notes during a session. I'll forget details about clients. I'll forget appointments. I'll begin to look unprofessional. If I am unprofessional, I'll get a bad reputation. If I get a bad reputation, people will stop coming to me. If people stop coming to me, I won't be able to earn a living. If I can't earn a living, I can't pay my mortgage. If I can't pay my mortgage, I lose my home. If I lose my home, I'll be out in the street with no money. I'll starve to death. I've lost my pen, so I'm going to die. And that is the mental process we all go through to trigger our stress response. So I would urge you, even though we are in the middle of such a difficult and challenging time, if you find your stress levels getting higher and higher all the time, stop for a moment and ask yourself, are these thoughts helping me or hurting me? And if you recognize that they are hurting you, begin to ask yourself, can I change how I'm thinking? And even in what is a very difficult situation, a very deadly virus, remind yourself that you're taking positive action to look after your health. The experts are telling us soap and water, 2 meters. That is what is going to save the population of the world. Soap and water, 2 meters, covering your mouth if you cough or sneeze. The vast majority of us, if we do pick up this virus, we will get through it. If you're in a vulnerable group, take the extra precautions that the medical professionals are telling you to. And don't think of it as being something being imposed on you. Congratulate yourself for taking positive action. This will pass. And hopefully very soon there will be some sport on for us all to enjoy. If you do get through this, life may have changed as you know it. But we'll all be alive to pick up the pieces and to start to rebuild. Remind yourself of those positive thoughts. Thanks for watching. For sportshypnosisdublin.ie, I'm Aidan Sloan.